Peace and blessings, beautiful souls. You are now tuned in to Power Podcasts. I am Brandi L. Bates, author of Moonshine for the Soul and other books. You can find me on Twitter at Soledad Francis and on Instagram at Brandi is Winning. Most of these podcasts are archived on YouTube via the I Am Brandi Bates channel. Hashtag Power Podcasts. Find them on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Podomatic.com. Like, share, follow, and drop me a line sometime to let me know how these talks are impacting your life. So, oysters. I hate when people say oysters. Oysters. Oysters secrete a substance called nacre, or mother of pearl. Generally, this lines the inside of their shell. Oysters. We're talking about oysters. It covers everything, and it's not valuable until a grain of sand or grit gets inside the shell. We're talking about oysters. Deep down in the ocean, deep down on the floor of most oceans, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Sea, Caribbean Sea. Then the oyster's defense mechanism begins to cover the tiny, intrusive object with the nacre, or nacre. Now, instead of just lining the shell, it wraps more and more nacre around the piece of grit, layer on layer, until eventually we have what we know as a pearl. Incredibly valuable, made from the same substance that wasn't valuable while it was just lining the shell. A rare and beautiful pearl. But it couldn't have happened without that piece of grit. Without the piece of grit, the nacre would have nothing to wrap itself around. In terms of limited edition living, grit, grace, and going hard, it's all about not falling prey to the things which will eventually diminish your shine. Here's what slowly diminished your shine over time. These are the things that diminish our shine. Doesn't matter who you are. Democrat, Republican, Black, white, Indian, Korean, Latino, lower middle class, rich, popular, educated, uneducated, bum. It doesn't matter. This is what diminishes your shine. I don't care who you are. Alcoholism. Let's talk about it. Alcoholism is one of those things that it's a disease, but we treat it like it's an affliction or a choice. Alcoholism is a disease, folks. It travels down genetically. Some might even call it a generational curse. Oftentimes, when you find alcoholics, a lot of times, not always, a lot of times, the mother or the father will be alcoholic. The grandmother and the grandfather, or the great-grandmother or great-grandfather, also alcoholics. Drugs, including prescription pills. So, your Xanax, your Adderall, your OxyContin, your Vicodin, smoking cigarettes. Smoking anything really, but smoking cigarettes specifically. The funny thing about cigarettes is on the package, they tell you this shit is poison, it is toxic, it kills, it causes birth defects. People still, but because the addiction is so strong. Depression will diminish your shine, always. Depression is another one of those things that it can happen to anybody. Don't think that you are above depression just because you're popping right now and life is good. There are a lot of people who are operating in depression. Get up every day, go to work with a smile on their face, and are depressed as shit. Do you hear me? Do you follow me? Getting lost in the roles society foists upon you. Labels like mother, baby daddy, wife, supervisor, head of household, etc., 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 etc. Sometimes we get lost in these positions, these labels people put on us. You are more than your relationship to the people in your family. Not saying that they are not important, because we know they're important. Your children are important. Your husband is important. Your wife, your girlfriend, your sorority, your fraternity, the church you attend, the gym you go to, your company, right? Your corporation, your organization, all of that. Very important. But you are so much more. You were so much more before you even walked in that. And you will be so much more in terms of your legacy. In this life, on this planet, in this dimension, you will be met at every level with grit, with irritants. The same way that the oysters are met with grit. And sometimes we have a confusion as to what classifies as grit. Grit may come in the form of debt, right? Student loans, credit cards, car loans, up to your fucking eyeballs in debt. It pins you in. It turns you into a wage slave. It turns you into a slave to the bondage of all that you owe. It's difficult to get free of when you find yourself in the throes of debt. But you can get out. You can dislodge yourself. Other forms of grit, irritants, divorce, bankruptcy, child abuse, sexual abuse, rape, foreclosure, losing your home, losing it all, right? Car accidents, being fired, being laid off, any type of major life change that you did not invite, you did not embrace, you did not see coming, you may have been blindsided by it. Those all serve as irritants, as grit. But I'm here to tell you that those can be catalysts for the greatest shit to ever happen in your life. You follow me? Opportunity is everywhere, especially during chaos and disaster, especially during chaos, upheaval, hard times, struggle, loss, devastation. And I'm saying, listen, any type of advice I give, I live by this shit. I don't tell you some shit that I'm not walking in. I don't tell you some shit that I don't believe in or know to be true. The question is, do you have the courage and bravery to seize the opportunity and the blessing in the eye of the storm? Grit is really about a person's commitment to long-term success and achieving certain goals despite any type of adversity. Because you're guaranteed to experience some form of adversity in this life. That's a promise. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money your parents make. I don't care what society you come from. Everybody is promised to experience some form of adversity in this life. Weapons will be formed against you. People are going to talk shit. Former friends, acquaintances, sometimes will throw daggers. But that doesn't mean any of them will prosper. That doesn't mean they're ever going to win. But the adversity will come. So one of the defining characteristics of grit is your ability to experience failure, right? To experience, feel it. It's going to happen, right? Feel it, experience it. But one thing, my grandmother and my mother even used to say is trouble doesn't last always. No storm ever lasts forever. I don't care how bad the storm. I don't care how bad the devastation. I don't care how deep the hole you find yourself in. It's not going to last forever. That's the beauty of this world, is that everything is constantly in rotation and movement, and nothing stays the same for long. But even more importantly, this limited edition lifestyle I speak of is about determination, guts. I mean, real fucking guts. Courage, grit, perseverance, hard work, dedication. And I'm not talking about garden variety, Hallmark fucking hard work. I'm talking about a solid, airtight, steel work ethic. Like Teflon work ethic. And if you haven't already listened to it, go back and listen to my talk entitled Teflon Work Ethic, where I really, zero in on what that looks like, fleshed out the texture of what Teflon work ethic looks like. Sometimes Teflon work ethic may not necessarily be you working, 70-hour work weeks and shit like that. It could just mean giving 110% to one thing in your life, just being present and always showing up no matter what. It could look like starting your own insurance agency, or slowly working your way up to partner, slowly working your way through your residency. It could mean you had to drop out of school because you got pregnant, but going back, and in spite of that, later in life, I don't care how old you are, you can always go back to school. You can always go back and get your bachelor's degree, get your master's degree, get your PhD. You can go back and just take classes because you just love learning new shit that can work in your favor later. It can mean going back to get your certifications and getting your licensing to improve your situation. Remember how far you've come. Take a good look at your life right now in 2018 and think about how far you've come. Because a lot of times we don't know how to put things in perspective because we're so busy looking at how good Rihanna is living and how great Madonna or Beyonce or who's the latest actor, who's the latest actress or celebrity or athlete who's popping, what are their units doing. But I'm saying zero in and zoom in on the legacy that you're writing, because only you can write your legacy. And with regards to this limited edition lifestyle, Oftentimes, the key to surviving even the most persistent storms is prayer. And I mean that in the most sincerest way. Prayer really does change things. I mean, it really does. I don't care if you believe in Allah, if you believe in Christ, if you believe in universal spirit, having a higher power to lean on, knowing that yes, you create your reality, but you don't make your heart beat. Something is making your heart beat. Times when you should have been wiped out. Times when you were in a situation, or you were in an accident, or you were in an environment where other people didn't make it out of, and you did. That's because there's a higher power behind all of this shit. There's a reason why the clouds are in the sky. There is a reason why there's a oxygen in your lungs and not in the next man who his lungs just gave out on him. But it's still oxygen in your lungs. You smoking all kind of, right? You smoking all kind of shit. You smoking cigarettes. You smoking dank, right? But there's still oxygen in your lungs. You're still healthy and kicking and living and surviving and shining. But I'm talking about fervent prayer. Sometimes when you go through the most difficult periods of your life, there's nothing you can do but pray. Because there will be times in your life when circumstances will bring you to your knees. And I'm not saying you have to be the judgmental type. You know, I'm not going to go full Joel Osteen on you. But prayer changes things. Yoga. I mean real yoga. Like autobiography of a yogi, Yogananda type yoga. Yoga is a real science, folks, when you really get into that thing. It can work wonders in your life because it stresses the importance and the realization of mind over matter. Mind is everything. Like, fuck all the metaphysical shit. Mind is everything. Your entire reality is what it is because of your mind. Meditation. And I'm talking about real transcendental meditation. I mean, go on YouTube, Google it. If you haven't already done so, find a local yoga studio, somewhere where you can really get with a really great instructor and learn how to really meditate. And if you don't want to do all that, you can, it's a matter of there are several apps and things on YouTube and online where you can plug in your earbuds and gradually learn how to properly meditate in a quiet space until you learn how to do it really well, where you can do it with music going on or people around you, and you can just shut down and go within. Pilates, spin class, cycling, biking. For people like me, running has done wonders for my life. Because one thing about getting up early in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and running a 5K, 3 miles or 5 miles or even 10 miles, that's the most difficult thing you're going to do that day. And if you can get up in the morning at 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock a.m. before the sun rises and get your ass out there and pound that pavement, I promise you, nothing else you experience during that day will challenge you like that run will challenge you. Nothing. See, the ancestors are especially folks from Kenya, the fastest runners on the planet. They know this. They know this. They innately know this. They've been knowing this. Nobody is fucking with a Kenyan. Nobody is about to beat a Kenyan running. It's not happening. And they literally run 26 plus miles nonstop and leave it right there on the pavement. Strength training is amazing. And I'm talking strength training with heavyweight. Ladies, don't think that don't think, oh, well, that's not for me. That's for dudes. No, you. Because you would be surprised what that does for you mentally, psychologically, what it does for you physically and emotionally. Again, when you deal with something, it's like how some people cut themselves, cutters, sometimes they cut themselves because they need a tangible, something they can see and touch and smell and hold and see that blood and see the wound to make the pain real for them. I'm saying you can do that in the gym with heavy weight. And when there's heavy weight bearing down upon you in your life, be that on your job, be that in your marriage or relationship, or lack of funds, trouble, stress, right? Worries, anxiety, whether it's real or not, that heavy weight is a tangible, you can say almost like, okay, here are all my problems in this iron. Let me lift it up, and drop it and let it go. Just leave it all right there at the dojo or the gym. Just because you're doing bad don't mean you have to look like shit too. I remember when I went through my divorce, and I can be transparent about it today. When I went through my divorce a few years ago, people, I would go to work. No one knew what I was going through. I kept my shit together. Because never let them see you sweat. Never let them see you sweat. I don't care how bad it hurts. Keep your shit together. I always managed to get up, wash my ass, applied my makeup, and I showed up and I did the work. Point blank. Travel. I cannot stress this enough. Get outside of your bubble. Get outside of your head. Get outside of your socioeconomic box. Get outside of the people who look like you and sound like you. There's a whole globe. There's a whole world out there. And you're staying in the same circumference, the same little bitty square footage. There is a whole world out there. Whole continents, whole oceans, mountains, deserts, people, food, culture, customs, music, beauty, wisdom. There's pyramids out there, and elephants and giraffes and zip lining and scuba diving, and you focused on your commute, work, your mama, bae, right? Travel. I talk about this in my book, Moonshine for the Soul. We talk about it in The Art of Grind. And folks, when I say go out and read my book, trust me, I'm not getting rich off writing books. I'm definitely not getting rich selling books. When I say this, it's because this is what legitimately helped me to get out of corporate America, helped me to build my own business, enabled me to get out of the man's vineyard and work my own shit. And I'm saying it can happen for you. Nothing offends me more than when someone comes to me or sends me an email or shoots me a direct message and they're like, I'm trying to walk off my job and, yada, 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 yada. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, right? But I've given several talks on how you do this shit. I've written a whole book on how to get outside of the matrix. But traveling, nothing changes you. Nothing shapes and transforms and translates better than This alone works wonders in this limited edition lifestyle. Books, I mean, go ham, go hard. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest, most successful investors ever. The Oracle of Omaha himself. One of the top 5 wealthiest self-made individuals on this planet. Do you know what he does? Each and every day. This is what he said. I'm talking about what he said. He sits down and reads up to 8 hours per day. He didn't used to be able to do this when he was, actively running Berkshire Hathaway. Now he's getting old and, he's a grandfather and, he's made his coin or whatnot. But all he loves to sit up. He plays bridge. He goes to McDonald's. This dude's been eating McDonald's for forever. And he just sits up and reads books. So does Bill Gates. So does Oprah Winfrey. There is a reason why the top 1%, the top 1% all over the world, globally, the top, I'm not talking about people who, floss in front of, average. Because if you're flossing in front of poor people like that, that's not impressive. Floss in front of your peers, right? They all read. They are all readers. And you got to read the right shit. Because sometimes it's difficult to find mentors and people who are walking in excellence and walking and operating on the level that you want to operate. It's really difficult to find that in your own environment. Certainly if you work in a company of underachievers, or you go to school, or you live in a community, a city, or a state where everybody is pretty much poor or impoverished, or just have an impoverished mindset, or just are okay with stat quote, right? Going to work, retiring, getting a gold watch, staying in their same little 20-mile radius, go to work, go to the grocery store, get food, eat, sleep, shit, fuck. That's, most people. Can I be transparent? Can I be real? That rewire your brain. Rewire your brain can be rewired. Rewire your brain with audiobooks galore. Listen to podcasts. Watch inspirational videos. Read only from texts which uplift, inspire, and motivate you. Start there. But then, you want to incorporate, shit that makes you laugh, every now and then. You don't have to be all serious all the time. But stay in the zone that keeps you fed. Stay around the people who keep you fed. Spectacular achievement is always preceded by unspectacular preparation. There will be a few times in your life when all your instincts will tell you to do something that defies logic, something that upsets your plans, something that may seem crazy to others. Don't trip. Learn to operate in the irrational. Learn to maneuver in the realm of the incredible. Ignore logic. Ignore the odds. Ignore the complications. That's what I love about children. Because kids, they don't know when they're aiming to do the impossible or trying to, do something illogical. Children will really believe they can fly until they fall on their face or some adult tells them, you can't fly. That's not real. That's not realistic. That's not real. What do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, that's not real. Stop telling these kids what they can't do and can't be because you gave up on your hopes and dreams. I call this the lack of normal mindset. in terms of limited edition living, grit, grace, and going hard, you must keep watch over what you allow to reach your reward centers. Your reward centers. Reward centers. Where's the brain's reward system? So you have the mesolimbic pathway, which is in the brain stem. You have the amygdala, you have the cerebellum, the corpus callosum, right? This is also called the reward circuit, which includes all kinds of pleasure. All kinds of pleasure, from sex to laughter to food to certain types of drug use. Even sugar taps on your reward centers. The ego, having your ego stroked, taps on those reward centers. When someone likes your post, loves your post, shares your post, comments on your status update, it causes the release of a little dopamine, which taps your reward center. So, because here's the thing, sometimes what makes you laugh will make you cry later. Sometimes what makes you laugh will later make you cry. Yeah, be that an ex, be that drugs, alcohol, or even a dream deferred. Even the job you're working right now, at some point, at one point, you chose that job. You applied for that job. You prayed for that job. You sat down and filled out an application, and you sat down for an interview, and you were really excited and gung-ho about that job. Even the relationship, the exes, people who've shit on you, or you might have shit on them. At some point, you chose them, you loved them, you gave them the most vulnerable parts of yourself. But sometimes what makes you laugh will later make you cry. Reward centers. And you have to guard your reward centers. You have to guard your reward centers. Timing is everything, because time management is life management. People who say, they want to write a book, but they sit up on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat all damn day. The time you are investing in Snapchat, unless Snapchat is cutting you some residuals, or YouTube is cutting you some residuals, or Facebook or Twitter even, unless you're getting some type of residuals from it, you could have been wrote your book. You could have been recorded your album, or 2 or 3. You could have been started your business. You could have been picked up a side hustle. You could have been making stacks. You could have been found a way to travel. You could have been lost those 40 pounds or gained 20 pounds in lean muscle. You could have been done that. You could have been done it. But whatever you do, go hard. If you hear nothing else I say, if you don't listen to any more of my podcasts, go hard. In the gym, in bed, in life, in your career, in your craft, in your side hustle, with your goals. If you're creative, there is absolutely no reason why you aren't flooding these streets with that work. Even if you're an attorney, doctor, social worker, barista, psychologist, flood the streets with you, your essence, your energy, your spirit, your books, your music, your merchandise. Can you design some t-shirts? Whatever your thing is, go hard, because you are writing your legacy as we speak. As you listen to this, your legacy is being written. And I think that some of us just aren't doing enough with the resources that we have at hand. So the internet is free as of today. That may change in 20 or 30 years. But as of today, the internet is wide the fuck open and free. The libraries, most public libraries in most civilized countries is wide the fuck open and free. Why aren't you seizing the knowledge? Between a library card and internet connection, you can damn near get you a master's degree. You can learn how to fix engines or build homes with a library card and an internet connection. Any type of business, you can learn to run it with a library card and an internet connection. But the problem is a lot of us, and I've been guilty. Hey, I've been guilty of this myself. So I don't never thwart shit on people that I know I haven't, all of us, our shit stinks, right? So we just do enough to get by, right? We do just enough to not get fired. Do just enough to not get dumped, right? So you're just good enough to stay under the radar. But I'm saying, fuck the radar. Go ham. Go in. Go hard. Who cares what toes you step on? You have one life, and when it's time to get in the box, as far as we know, you don't get a do-over. If you're not going to go hard, why even be in the arena? Why apply any effort if you're not going to give 127%? The average worry about how am I going to do? I don't know how I'm going to come up with that money. I don't know how. The extraordinary are fueled by why. Why not you? Who's depending on you? Your kids are watching you. Your future generation is watching you. Literally, what you do today is going to affect your children's 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 children 100 years from now. And when you really think about that, and I mean, get really serious, get really concrete and serious about that, it'll make you change your ways. Herman Hesse, the author of Siddhartha, once said, "Learn what is to be taken seriously and laugh at the rest." Because some of us, we take too much serious that doesn't deserve to be taken serious. And that's part of your problem. It's part of the source of your anxiety. Is it going to matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter 5 years from now? Will this matter 10 years from now? And if not, don't trip. Why are you stressing about it if it won't matter 10 years from now? Then it damn sure shouldn't matter right now. The difference between a thought and a decision is the immediate action you take. Immediate, that's the beauty of the doers take action. Everybody else talks about it. And so as you listen to this morning or tonight, let go of everything you haven't done right. The negative things people may have said about you. Forget about what didn't work. Forget about whatever's on your plate. If it won't matter 5 years from now, please do not allow it to stress you. We are given the ability to dream for a reason. Unlike any other primate on this planet, we have big brains. Big, healthy, hefty brains. Brains which have the ability to change themselves. And brains which can think. I mean, really think. Reason, plan, strategize, architect. Brains which grow from struggle and strain like any other muscle. Your brain can be built. Same way you can get buff, you can tone out your abs, your pecs, your delts, your glutes, right? What your life looks like today can look immensely different next year. Your whole world can be upgraded in a matter of years. No other animal, reptile brain or not, has this ability that you have. But growth does not happen in our comfort zones. It happens in our uncomfort. And that's the way muscle is built. I'm sorry. That's the way grit and grace is forged. And all the greatest souls have been through some shit. Look at what Nelson Mandela was subjected to. The Dalai Lama. El Hajj Malik Shabazz. Gandhi. You. Look at the shit you've survived already. Because sometimes when I'm going through things, I have to remind myself, like, you done been through some shit and you overcame it all. So what's this? Right? In the same way that grit forms pearls, struggle, hard times, loss, devastation, addiction, heartbreak, heartache, disappointment, a dream deferred, all of those things convert into grace. What is grace? Grace is divine help and strength. Whether you believe it comes from the ancestors, whether you believe it comes from the Most High, from Yah, from Jah, from Allah, from Buddha, right? It's divine help and strength. And sometimes we ask God for success, and when God gives us physical and mental stamina, then we, back up like, oh, I don't know if I wanted this. It's like, if you ask for strength, you're going to get situations and circumstances and relationships that test your ass. Do you hear me? So see, you have to be careful what you ask for. Don't put shit on that vision board that you're not serious about. This is high level alchemy. This business of manifestation. He who learns must suffer. He who learns must suffer. This limited edition lifestyle is about raising the bar. Raising your standards starts with increasing your productivity and increasing your skill level. Get in those books. With all this technology, information at your fingertips, there is no reason why you should not be living on the limited edition plane. None. But you. You are your only limit. You are your biggest problem. Your biggest hindrance, your biggest obstacle is you. And the excuses and the bullshit you telling yourself. So know that nothing is unrealistic. Nothing is unrealistic. Because what was unrealistic 20 years ago is reality today. Man has walked on the moon. Man has learned to fly. Man has recreated God. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is unrealistic. If it's in your mind, if it's an idea or vision you've thought of, it's there for a reason. And when it comes to any type of obstacle or hindrance in your life, be that disease, drug addiction, unemployment, whatever, deal with it head on. Deal with it before it comes deep rooted. Time is everything. Timing is everything. When you do things matters just as much as how you do things. Everything you're going through is preparing you for everything you want. It's building you. It's forging you. It's chiseling you. It's the grit that's forming your pearl. And this isn't some type of cliche. I don't talk in cliches. These are facts. Pause. Grace is freely given, but you must receive it. You don't get to experience what you can't handle. You don't get to experience what you can't handle. That's why a lot of you, I want to be a multi-billionaire. You can't handle being a multi-billionaire because your ass will trick it off. That's why it's not happening for you right now. But when you become the person who can deal with it and handle it and control it and not let it control you, then you will manifest it. Even our trials, tribulations, and struggles are tailor-made for our journeys. So thank you for listening. Have a magnificent, marvelous, spectacular day. It's so beautiful. Life is good. If you woke up this morning above ground, it's a good day. Fuck the dumb shit. I don't care what happens. I don't care who cuts you off. Be blessed. Call your loved ones. Tell them how much you love them. No one is promised tomorrow, not even you. And if you think shit is bad, there are several hundreds of thousands of people who would love to trade places with you. So walk in love, spread love, cloak your office with love and positive vibrations, like some real Bob Marley type shit, right? And sprinkle some on your kids and your co-workers. Peace, and we'll see you next week.